Why do people do what they do? Why does the friend you trust suddenly change? Why does someone stay in a job they hate? Why does anger explode from nowhere? Why does love make us irrational? Why does fear make us silent? And why do some people hurt others while some spend their lives healing them? Behind every action, every decision, every reaction, every silence, there is a story, a hidden logic, a psychological pattern, a reason that's older than language and deeper than thought. Today, we're diving into something most people never try to understand: the machinery behind human behavior, the invisible forces that control what we do, even when we believe we are acting freely. You're about to learn the truth. Humans rarely act from logic. We act from needs, wounds, fears, instincts, and unconscious scripts we don't even know we're following. And once you understand these patterns, you will never see people the same way again. You will understand them. You will see through their behavior. And most surprisingly, you will finally understand yourself. The first truth: people act to feel safe. Most human behavior, anger, avoidance, attraction, risk-taking, conflict, is ultimately an attempt to protect oneself. Safety doesn't only mean physical safety. It means emotional safety, social safety, and identity safety. A person who avoids confrontation doesn't want to lose connection. A person who gets angry easily is protecting an emotional wound. A person who stays silent is avoiding judgment. A person who lies is trying to escape consequences, not always trying to hurt someone. A person who leaves suddenly might be overwhelmed, not cold-hearted. The truth is simple but profound. People don't act to hurt you. People act to protect themselves. When you understand this, you stop taking things personally. Most reactions are self-defense mechanisms disguised as personality. The brain's secret mission: avoid pain. The human brain has evolved with one absolute priority: avoid pain first, seek pleasure second. That means almost every behavior begins with avoidance. Avoiding embarrassment, avoiding rejection, avoiding shame, avoiding failure, avoiding conflict, avoiding uncertainty, avoiding feeling not enough. This is why people stay in comfort zones long past their expiration date. Choosing what is familiar, even if it hurts, is still safer to the brain than what is unknown. That's why people stay in bad relationships. People stay in dead-end jobs. People stay around toxic people. People keep repeating the same patterns. Not because they like it, because it feels predictable, and predictability feels safe. The brain prefers consistent suffering over risky improvement. If you understand this, you'll stop calling people weak and start recognizing their fear. Emotions come first, logic comes later. Humans are emotional creators who use logic to justify emotional decisions. We think we are rational creatures who sometimes feel, but in reality, we are emotional creatures who sometimes think. This is why people buy with emotion, then justify with logic. People fall in love emotionally, then rationalize it. People get angry emotionally, then explain it. People fear change emotionally, then create excuses. The emotional brain acts within milliseconds. The logical brain arrives late, when the decision has already been made. So when someone says, "I don't know why I did that," believe them, because most behavior began before they were consciously aware. People mirrored their past. Nobody behaves in the present. People behave from their past. If someone grew up unappreciated, they will crave validation. If someone grew up criticized, they will fear making mistakes. If someone grew up rejected, they will expect abandonment. If someone grew up controlled, they will rebel or become controlling. If someone grew up ignored, they will struggle to feel seen. People repeat what they learned, even when it hurts them. This is why some people choose partners who treat them like their parents. Why some can't trust even when others are trustworthy. Why some sabotage good things. Why some cling to people who hurt them. Why some fear love even when they crave it. They aren't reacting to you. They're reacting to memories disguised as instincts. Human behavior is often an echo from childhood. The need for belonging. One of the strongest human drives is the need to belong. People would rather fit in than be right. People would rather be accepted than be honest. People would rather stay in a group, even a harmful one, than stand alone. This need for belonging explains peer pressure, groupthink, conformity, silence in the face of injustice, loyalty to harmful families, staying in unhealthy social circles. The fear of being alone is so powerful that humans will betray themselves before they risk being rejected. Once you see this, you understand why people don't always choose what is best for them. They choose what makes them feel less alone. The search for control. Humans crave control, even if it's an illusion. A predictable pain feels more controllable than an unpredictable joy. That's why people stay in routines. People resist sudden change. People cling to old identities. People get angry when uncertain. People prefer familiar problems. Control is psychological oxygen. When people feel powerless, they try to reclaim control in other ways. Anger, withdrawal, perfectionism, overthinking, manipulation, people-pleasing, excessive planning. These aren't personality traits, they are survival strategies. So when someone tries to control everything in their life, it's not because they are strict, it's because something inside them feels deeply unsafe. Fear of judgment. Humans constantly imagine judgment even when no one is judging. This fear shapes behavior more than reason does. It makes people hide their feelings, pretend to be stronger, avoid asking for help, avoid trying new things, stay quiet even when they disagree, stay small to avoid being noticed. The irony is, most people are too busy worrying about themselves to judge anyone else. Yet the fear of judgment stops millions of people from living fully. Understanding this fear helps you see beyond someone's behavior and into their insecurities. The need to feel important. Every human wants to feel valued, noticed, appreciated, respected, meaningful. This need shapes countless actions. Bragging, showing off, over-explaining, seeking praise, working excessively hard, chasing status symbols, arguing to win. People don't need admiration, they need significance. If someone acts superior, it's usually because deep down they feel inferior. If someone demands respect, they often feel small inside. If someone boasts, they're trying to prove worth. If someone argues endlessly, they need to feel heard. The ego speaks loudest when the heart feels the weakest. The power of unmet needs. Every behavior is either meeting a need or compensating for a need that was never met. A person who didn't feel loved seeks affection everywhere or pushes it away. A person who didn't feel safe becomes hyper-independent or overly clingy. A person who wasn't heard becomes a great listener or someone who demands attention. People either repeat the past or rebel against it. Either way, the past is still in control. Once you understand someone's unmet needs, their behavior suddenly makes perfect sense. Humans avoid responsibility, not because they are lazy, but because responsibility threatens identity. Changing your life means admitting, I was wrong. I should have acted sooner. I allowed something harmful. I contributed to this problem. This hurts the ego. So instead, people blame fate, others, luck, society, their upbringing, their personality. Blame protects the ego but destroys growth. People don't avoid responsibility because they don't care. They avoid it because responsibility demands self-honesty, and self-honesty can be painful. The hidden forces: desire, fear, and habit. Almost all human behavior can be reduced to three forces. Number 1, desire. We chase what we want: attention, love, safety, success, comfort. Number 2, fear. We avoid what threatens us: rejection, failure, loss, pain, conflict. Number 3, habit. We repeat what is familiar: patterns, beliefs, coping mechanisms. These three forces shape almost every decision. Once you see them, you understand everything people do. The dark side of behavior: shadow motives. People love to believe they are kind, reasonable, and honest, but behavior is often driven by jealousy, insecurity, envy, revenge, pride, loneliness, guilt, shame. Not because people are bad, but because people are hurting. Anger is pain in disguise. Control is fear in disguise. Arrogance is insecurity in disguise. Silence is avoidance in disguise. Coldness is self-protection in disguise. People don't show their wounds, they show their defenses. If you look past the defense, you understand the person. Everyone has an invisible story. The quiet person isn't boring, they're protecting themselves. The loud person isn't confident, they're trying to be heard. The angry person isn't strong, they're afraid of vulnerability. The clingy person isn't weak, they fear abandonment. The distant person isn't cold, they fear being hurt. Everybody is fighting a silent battle. Once you realize this, empathy replaces judgment. The most important truth: people want to be understood. More than anything, humans want to feel seen, heard, understood, validated. This truth explains almost every emotional conflict. People argue because they don't feel understood. People withdraw because they don't feel valued. People chase love because they don't feel worthy. People work too hard because they want recognition. People cling to others because they fear being forgotten. Understanding is the deepest form of love, and misunderstanding is the root of most pain. The self we hide and the self we show. Human behavior is divided between the self we show: polite, collected, confident, rational. The self we hide: afraid, insecure, lonely, wounded. What people show is a mask. What people feel is a story. Once you stop reacting to the mask and start noticing the story, you finally understand why people behave the way they do. The truth about behavior: human behavior is not random. It is not mysterious. It is not unpredictable. It is shaped by past wounds, unmet needs, survival instincts, emotional reactions, fear of pain, desire for belonging, desire for control, need for significance, fear of rejection, old habits, hidden insecurities. When you understand these forces, you stop taking behavior personally. You stop judging people harshly. You start seeing their humanity. And you finally understand your own behavior as well. Because the truth is, everyone is doing the best they can with the emotional tools they currently have. Thank you for watching. If this video helped you understand people and yourself more deeply, remember, awareness is the first step toward change. The more you understand human behavior, the more power you gain over your own life, your relationships, and your future. thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you for being part of a world that chooses understanding over judgment. See you in the next chapter.